We're going to check in right now with 13 ABC's Christina Williams. She is live south of me here in Wood County with more of the damage in Perrysburg Township. Tina?
Well, Jeff, overnight we talked about the big challenge being the fact that it was dark outside. The challenge now, the wind. It is starting to get very cold and windy, and if you look behind me, we've been on Roachton all morning long. The Edison crews are here as we speak, dealing with a major situation. These are the main power lines supplying a large portion of Perrysburg Township. As you can see, a majority of them are actually in this farm field right now, and that's causing some major issues. Some of these poles are snapped in half, others completely uprooted and thrown multiple feet into this field, and that means no power for this entire area. We are talking thousands of customers. Last year, Toledo's processing center was in danger of closing. It's in the clear until 2014. And while fewer people are sending out letters, the USPS says package deliveries are up, and that could be a lifeline for thousands of workers right here in our area. This is the area where the tornado actually touched down. The Seneca County EMA director says there was a quick hit. You can see the force from the winds blew off the roof of this mobile home and actually flipped over a trailer. At this point, just to recap here, we're following breaking news. Calvin Dixon has been arrested in the Cleveland area for the Fostoria homicide. Reporting live, Christina Williams, 13 ABC, Action News. Police say the suspect was a paying customer and was using his cell phone to target women here at Tan Pro. I have a question for you. Why'd you take the photos? Do you have any comment today? This is serving as the Lucas County Board of Elections headquarters. This is where the votes will come in later tonight before we bring you those results on 13ABC and 13abc.com. Coming up at 12:30, we're going to hear from the director of the Lucas County Board of Elections to see just how many people are casting a ballot. Reporting live in Toledo, Christina Williams, 13ABC, Action News. If you miss the gas crews, you're going to find a yellow tag on your door. All you need to do is find the number on the bottom and give Columbia Gas a call. Did they think you were a terrorist?
They must have had reason to suspect. Why else pull out, F-16 fighter pilots to trail the plane and have, umpteen numbers of agents and police. I mean, it was the whole 9 yards. It was really over the top.
She had her bags checked, made it through security, even landed at her final destination before being pulled off the plane. So was this a case of protecting passengers, or did national security go too far? Now, this story raised the question of whether national security was at work or if passenger safety went too far. She says this was a violation of her rights and she doesn't want it to happen again. So we decided to go to the airport and see what travelers had to say.
This was a complete violation, as you said, of my rights, my privacy.
On the 10-year anniversary of the 9/11 attack, Shoshana Hebshe was pulled off of her flight as it landed in Detroit. She was detained, strip searched, and questioned, only to be let go hours later. Her story is gaining national attention. Some argue this was national security at work. Or was it?
So it was sort of profiling, or something like that.
I think we have to be careful. At the same time, I think it's also discrimination.
Multiple passengers we spoke with were angry.
I would be furious.
What would you do?
I'd sue. I really would.
Hebshe is suing the FBI, TSA, and Frontier Airlines for ethnic discrimination. But is this more common than we think? Faziel Kirsch is a frequent flyer and says he's profiled all of the time.
So after 2001, that's when, almost every time I go to the airport, I get selected on a separate line. And it's not because, it's just not random. There's nothing random about it.
Even after passing through security and making it to her final destination, Hebshe was detained. So the bigger question is, with body and bag scanners, even pat-downs, is security working?
If you've gone that far, all the way through the system, why would you take somebody off?
There is so much that needs to be changed. It's like you're there, they scan you, you take your shoes off. A lot of it is inconvenience.
They're doing their job, we don't like it, but at the same time, you got to be real.
Security is a slippery slope, one Hebshe hopes has more definition once her case is heard in federal court.
I've never, objected to having my bags being screened, walking through the scanner, whatever needs to happen, but this was over the top. I mean, this was uncalled for.
We contacted the airline and the government for their side of the story, but they had no comment on the case. Now, as for Hebshi, her lawsuit of ethnic discrimination still pending in district court. Christina Williams, 13 ABC, Action News.
13 ABC's Christina Williams says if you don't clear your sidewalk, it could cost you.
The digging out continues today. With more than 7 inches of snow on the ground, many streets in Toledo are still a mess.
It's hard trying to get out your driveway. It's hard trying to get to the end of the block.
Melissa Hernandez lives on Hurd Street in East Toledo. She says getting a plow through is a problem.
It's real narrow, but if they send out a letter saying, like, get the car off the street for one day, just so that we can get in and out or back and forth to where we need to go, it would be fine.
Across the city in Point Place, Roger Tapley was hard at work this morning.
And the wind blew all this in last night.
Oh, geez. So this was already done once, and you're having to go back over it.
Yep.
Ugh. If you live in Toledo, the municipal code requires all sidewalks must be shoveled within 24 hours of a snowfall. For this mother struggling to push a double stroller, it's welcome news.
I just wish that people would sit there and, do the driveways too.
If you fail to clean off your walk, you could get a ticket, even if the home is vacant. If you own it, it's your problem. The city crews are still out, and with more snow on the way, it looks like the winter wonderland is sticking around. In Toledo, Christina Williams, 13 ABC, Action News. In 2012, the state of Ohio issued nearly 78,000 concealed carry licenses. But what about someone who is legally blind carrying a gun in public? Iowa sheriff's departments are now issuing concealed carry permits to the blind, and it is sparking a national debate. Should those who are visually impaired be allowed to carry a gun in a park or a grocery store?
Just because I don't see doesn't mean I surrender my right to defend myself as an American.
Gary Zaremski has been legally blind for 5 years. He says having a gun should be an option for protection.
When you're visually impaired, you're a target.
Paul Rocco is also visually impaired. He lost most of his sight back in 2004. His concern is that those with disabilities are being overlooked.
We are live living beings. We should deserve the same things in life that you have.
But is there a safety concern? Teresa Cleland is the owner of Cleland's Outdoor World. They offer concealed carry classes to people of all ages, and she feels everyone without a criminal record should be able to apply.
If they can pass these shooting tests, I don't see any problem with it.
Under Ohio law, you must pass a background check and a written and physical shooting test, which essentially eliminates those who cannot see. But Cleland says that doesn't have to be the case.
As long as they are proficient with the handgun. The whole thing is safety.
Rocco is working on getting his CCW right now, and while not everyone can pass the test, he hopes to inspire those struggling with vision loss.
You can't go through life saying I can't do it. But thanks to some good people at Cleveland's and Fulton County Sportsman's Club, that I've enjoyed archery and shooting, so they're working with me to get my concealed weapon permit.
In Lucas County, Christina Williams, 13 ABC, Action News.
Last month, First Officer Jamie Brokaw was among 7 men killed on a cargo flight lifting off from an air base in Afghanistan. Private flight crashed shortly after takeoff. And tonight, Brokaw's widow honors the memory of her late husband. It's a story you'll only see on 13 ABC. Here's Christina Williams.
Caring, charismatic, and adventurous is how Elizabeth Brokaw describes her husband, Jamie.
Jamie was the kind of guy that he'd wake up and be like, hey, guess what? It's today. Let's do something. Like, every day was a celebration.
Brokaw served in the Air Force and then as a first officer with National Airlines. His entire life was dedicated to flying. Brokaw got his start young and spent countless hours in the sky. He spent time working towards his private pilot's license and eventually earned commercial clearance to fly 747s around the world.
He reached the dream, the pinnacle of what most pilots dream to be.
Brokaw and Elizabeth married just last year, sealing the aviation-themed affair with a kiss. But just 2 weeks before the young couple's first anniversary, Brokaw died in a plane crash. The cargo plane he was in went down in Afghanistan just moments after takeoff, killing all 7 men on board.
Like Jamie always said, I'm not leaving, I'm just going to work, baby. They were all just doing their job.
Brokaw leaves behind his 9-year-old stepdaughter, Chloe. And on this Memorial Day, Elizabeth knows she is one of many mourning the loss of a loved one.
We just have to all be there and support each other and know that it's okay to be sad and know that it's okay to be angry, but know that we're the ones that have to continue on.
With support from around the globe and mementos now serving as memories, Jamie's love for others is helping his family survive.
He created a net for me to fall in.
In Monroe, Christina Williams, 13 ABC, Action News.